Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the time and opportunity me to present my research entitled Science Literacy Profile of Junior High School Student on Climate Change Materials. My goal in conducting this research in the initial stage in developing climate change technique material integrated with fund science to increase the scientific literacy of junior high school students. And for that, before I continue my research and developing, I do this research. And the authors in this study, namely, my name is Rizkan Rianti, and there is my first supervisor is Professor Dr. Indarini Dwi Pursitasari, MSc, and there is my second supervisor is Professor Dr. Bibin Rudini, MPD, and we are from Department of Science Education, Postgraduate School, Pakuan University. And my background in taking this research is, given the magnitude of the challenge faced by society, a public shift needed in the education system that can present the component of 21 century skills needed by students in dealing with every aspect of global life. And quality science education planning will affect the acquisition of a country's developing achievements. And students will participate in the impact of science in everyday life and its role in society through science education. And students are expected to be able to solve real-life problems in the 21st century by applying science concept in science education. And a student who have knowledge in understanding scientific facts and the relationship between science, technology, and society, and are able to apply their knowledge in solving real-life problems are called scientifically literacy societies. And this 21st century scientific literacy is one of the skills required of the 16 skills analyzed by World Economic Forum. And educating people to have scientific literacy is an important and primary goal in any education reform. And scientific literacy is focused on growing the capabilities of students in responding to science using scientific ideas. And thinking and acting skill, which include mastery of thinking and using scientific ways of thinking in knowing and responding to societal issues, are important fields of scientific literacy. And scientific literacy is important for students in understanding the environment, modern society, technology, health, and the economy. And related to science, there are many problems that must be faced by students. With the learning process, this problem can be solved. And the ability of students to apply scientific knowledge so that they are able to describe problems until they finally make a decision to is called scientific literacy. And PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment, is a program to test the performance of students there at age 15 in the fields of science, mathematics, and reading literacy. In word literacy, uh, uh, this is because the Indonesia people interest in reading is relative low. Because in 2018, uh, Indonesia is 70 from 78 country. And the following is a student scientific literacy framework at PISA 2019. In scientific literacy is what do people know and what do people value and what can people do, and these are integrated in scientific literacy. And the indicator of the competition in literacy science is identify scientific issues, explain scientific phenomena, and using scientific evidence. And research method. And this type of research in an ex post facto research method. And the population in this study were class 7 students at 3 Chelsea Junior High School. And the sample in this study was selected by class random sampling technique, namely class 8-5, 8-9, and 8-7. And the total sample is 76 students. And the instrument used in this study were scientific drastic questions paper and white sheets for teacher and student interviews. And the data collections technique in this study was giving tests in the form of scientific literacy test questions and conducting interview with students and teachers. And analysis of scientific literacy ability data is carried out in the following step. For data obtained from the test results that have been scored are then converted into grades. Convert scores into values using the formula according to Arikunto as follows. The score obtained divide the maximum score and multiplied 2,000. And the scientific literacy achievement score obtained are then interpreted based on the criteria present in this table. Is for value range less than 33 is low, and 33 until 66 is medium, and 67 until 1,000 is high. And the results of interviews with teachers and students obtained were then analyzed to deepen and broaden information regarding the achievements of students' scientific literacy abilities in class 8, 3 Chelsea Junior High School to determine the factor that influence students' scientific literacy abilities. And the average score of this scientific literacy test obtained by a student is 31.58% and is classified as low. And the complete result of the student's scientific literacy test can be seen in this table. Yeah, and in table, we can see that the person's patients in 33 until 66 is amount 38.37 and less than 33 is 61.63. And average values from this data is 31.58 as known as low. And this table show that more than 50 students are in the low category value range, and there are no students who are in the high category value range. And the average value of the scientific literacy test obtained by a student is 31.58%. And from this data, it can be concluded that overall, based on the average value of students' scientific literacy is in the low category. And the low ability of students' scientific literacy is caused by the inability of the student to work in scientific literacy questions, which contain understanding and analysis of the question. Students are not used to working on questions that require analyze and understanding because the evaluation questions given by the teacher at UHA, UTS, and UAS are questions that only require student memory of the material they have learned. And in addition, the teaching material factor also support the increase in scientific literacy. And learners must be accustomed by working on questions that require analyze, understanding, and contextualizations with the real world. And students will be accustomed to developing their understanding of the material they are studying, especially on climate change material. And climate change material is contextual material in everyday life. And this statement is also supported by the opinion by the opinion of Pantiwati, who argues that science assessment should be not only be oriented towards mastery of science material, but also on the ability to think that the ability to carry out a scientific process in real life. And the result of Huria et al. Is research conclude that students who were not used to working on questions that required analysis were one of the factors that cause student low scientific literacy skills. And at the beginning of learning climate change research saw that there were difference in student scores when working on questions using scientific literacy questions and not research indicate that using scientific literacy gave birth to different methods and impacts on student happiness. And from this, conducted research relate to this matter. And research want to know how students enjoy is feel from the scientific literacy questions they use. And in this case, the research saw the one group of students used literacy science and one did not. And based on the result of the analysis of students' scientific literacy abilities in three Chelsea Junior High School, it can be conclude that the average grade 8 students' scientific literacy at three Chelsea Junior High School is 31.58%. And this value indicate that student scientific literacy abilities are in a lower category. And from that, the low scientific literacy ability of the Chelsea Junior High School student is influenced by several factors, such as low interest in reading, lack of teaching materials that focus on scientific literacy, and evaluating tools that have not yet lead to developing of scientific literacy. And so it's why from this research, I have known that students can be bored and cannot doing the test of literacy science. And we as a teacher must be have the innovation of maybe from the process or the from the book. And we have to have innovation from that, which is which is uh, which is it was a science student is higher. And thank you so much for your attention. Sorry if there is a word wrong, and please correct and suggest. Thank you so much.